Habits aren't black and white. They aren't one size fits all, but they are everything. Habits are in everything we do. They're everything we are. Yes, they're good, they're bad, they're somewhere in between, but they're all a part of our lives. Hi and welcome back to the It's a Girl Thing podcast. You're here with me, Kate, and we're here for another day, another chit-chat, and another you and me session. Now it's been a week, but it feels like a lifetime since we last talked. Wow, this week has been like a month in one go. But it's been such a good week, even though we've had some ups and some downs. But we survived, we're here, and we're chatting for another day. And I know you've missed 2 episodes of Coco Confessions, and I'm sorry for that. But hopefully we should be back on for this Tuesday, and I will give you an extra story as well. But we are getting low on stories, so if you haven't already, make sure you head to the link in any of the episode descriptions for Coco Confessions and submit your confessions there. Now I just want to say thank you for being here. And if you're new, welcome. This is your safe space in the corner of the internet where you don't have to be a certain way, you don't have to be perfect, you don't have to be hitting rock bottom to not be okay. You're not alone here. We just take it one day at a time, one story at a time, one moment at a time, and we just keep moving, just keep swimming. Now, if you want to know a very quick little bit about me, there is a new updated All About Me episode called The Girl Behind the Mic. If you want to know a lot more about me, quick update for newbies, old comers who forget who I am, which is valid. I'm Kate, I'm 19, and I'm from New Zealand. Hence the accent that probably doesn't sound like most of your everyday things unless you're from New Zealand or Aussie. But I'm super excited to chat today. So we're going to chat about habits, and this is such an important thing for me because I have been somebody who craves discipline and self-control in so many areas of my life. And we're going to talk about bad habits, good habits, and kind of trying to keep them because we all know it's a never-ending struggle. Sorry, my sniffles. Anyway, if you know me, you'll know that we're doing 12 Habits of 2025. And if you want to hear more about those, then you can check out the episode I did on that at the start of the year. But we are now up to the end of my month 5. And we're doing pretty well, actually. Every month's habit's gone relatively well except last month. And that was due to poor planning on my part. But this month we're doing pretty good. We've only missed a few days. And it wasn't even because I missed the habit, it's because I missed the complete level of the consistency for the habit. But I want to talk about why that's so important to me and the goal I'm on at the moment with habits. So, I have a lot of bad habits. I'll be the first to say bad habits are so easy to continue with. Like, they're things that happen naturally. They're just the easy way out, so to speak, because that's what our brains have been trained to think is the easy way out. For example, my room is a mess. And it's not because it's hard to keep clean. It's because I have a bad habit of letting the mess rebuild. So I have read the book Atomic Habits like maybe 5 times now, and so good. If you haven't read it, it's 100% worth the read. There's always something new to take away. And I'm currently taking on a kind of 75 medium, 75 hard style challenge, but a little bit more tame based on the life I want to create. And we'll go into that in a little more detail. But I want to talk about bad habits, continue to talk about them. So my room is a mess. And I think last weekend, I completely cleaned my room. It might have been the weekend before. I completely cleaned my room. We were back to tidy everything. New sheets, new clean sheets, new everything. Everything was back in its spot. And then throughout the week, it just got worse and worse and worse. And that's because I have a habit of, I'll just chuck it on the chair. Or I'll do that when I get home. Or, I don't have a home for this. It can just go on my desk. So these little habits that may seem really insignificant at the time. Like, for example, I said, I'll just get to it later, like when I come home. But then when I'm home, I'm tired and I don't want to have to clean my room and I don't want to have to do the effort that it takes. But actually, the fact that my room is a mess is more mentally draining than actually putting something away in the first place. But yet again, I can acknowledge this, yet my room is still messy, so that is yet another habit we're working on. But bad habits come in all shapes and sizes. They can come from things like bad habits of picking fingernails, or you just might have little mannerisms that you don't love that you've picked up, and because they've become routine in your life, no matter how hard or easy, it's harder to change them. So I want to talk about how we can build good habits. How can we decide what habits we need in our lives, and how do we get them there and make something sustainable in the long run? So as I said, I am taking on a 75-day challenge. I'm now on day 3, so I don't have too much to report back at this stage. But the intention of the challenge isn't to say I've done 75 hard. It is a challenge that I set up based on the structure of 75 hard, because they say that it takes anywhere from like 66 days to 75 days in that kind of range to cement a habit into your lifestyle. So by taking on 75 days, I am trying to recreate that, because the girl I am now, I'm not quite happy with her yet. And I talked about it a little bit in our episode last week, that I would, past me 2-3 years ago, would love the girl I am right now. Like, yes, there are things that we're always going to want to change about ourselves, but she would love who I am. She'd be like, I can't even believe we're her. But because I'm constantly evolving and growing and changing, so are my goals, lifestyle expectations, and all of the above for myself. So as we move into that new thing, I have new goals and desires. And the girl I see myself as in the long run, there are things that I need to implement in my life to become her. And we're not talking like that girl, being that girl. Like, I want to become Cate. The Cate that I know deep inside I've always wanted to be. And for me, that looks like preparing myself to have the heart, the mind, and the routine and lifestyle of the wife and mother I want to be in the future. And I'm being honest with you, that's for me what I desire. But how can you do that? The important thing to know is, what would the version of yourself in your wildest dreams that you could be, what would she do? What would her day look like? How would she start her morning? Would she start her morning rolling out of bed with 15 minutes to get ready after she snoozes the alarm and then runs out to work? Probably not. Maybe she does, but not for me. For me, I want to get up an hour early. I want to take some time with the Lord in the morning, maybe do a little bit of movement or drink some water and get a good breakfast in, maybe scroll, even if I want to scroll for a few minutes, or read a few pages of a book. I just like to have some slow time in the morning, and I know that I like to do that, and I know that future me that I want her to be able to do that in whatever busy life she has. So why can I not implement that now, so that it comes naturally in the times where it's harder to find that time? For those of you who have been listening for a little while, I talked about when I'm at uni, like my classes can vary from starting at 8 a.m, which is early but not early, to starting only having a 1 o'clock class or 1 and 3 o'clock class. So I could technically sleep in as late as I wanted. Whereas when I'm on placement, I have to be at work at 8 o'clock almost every day, unless I'm on P shifts like this week. But 8 o'clock every day, which means I've got to be out of my house around quarter past 20 past 7, which means that if I want to get in that time, I've got to wake up just after 6 to have that time to myself. And once again, if you know me, you'll know that I've been struggling this year especially, and last year a lot, with getting up early. I used to love getting up early, but I started to struggle quite badly with I'd let myself get into a bad habit of staying up late. It was that habit of I can scroll because I don't actually have to get up early. I can roll out of bed. It's a 3-minute walk to campus. But I built that bad habit for myself, that I could stay up till crazy hours of the night or early in the morning. And so I've had to unravel that bad habit day by day. And now I'm going to give you some words of... sorry, I keep losing my train of thought. I'm doing this without notes today, so and you're also in my pajamas, if you didn't pick up on that. We're cozy, it's cold, and I've had a lovely bath. Wow. I sound so all over the place. Back to my point. My point being, figure out who you want to be and what their days would look like. What would their life look like? Even to begin with, choose one habit, one thing that she does in her day that you can slowly transition into yours. Now, I'm going to give you some words of wisdom from the book Atomic Habits itself, which is the line, get 1% better every single day. If you get 1% better every single day, you'll be 365% better after a year, right? Little by little. And 1% better every day doesn't sound like a lot, but imagine if you got you were whatever height you are and you got 365% taller. You'd be massive by the end of the year. So I want you to know that little changes are the way that you form the habits and the life that you actually want to have. For me, it started with getting up a little bit earlier every day, and it didn't start with me getting up all of a sudden at 6 o'clock, going for a run, having my breakfast. It started with me getting up at maybe 6:45, and I'd scroll on my phone till 7, get changed and leave. I'd do that for a few days, and then I'd get up at 6:30, I'd scroll for a minute or two, check my notifications, and then I'd go eat some breakfast, and then I'd leave. And then I slowly built myself a little morning routine, and now I'm still not quite there, but now I'll get up. What were we talking about? 1% better every day. My morning routine. So I get up at 6:20. Some days I'll have a shower depending if I had one the night before or not. Then I will get myself some breakfast and I'll sit down on the couch. I'll either scroll or I'll read a book. And then I usually get ready and leave. In the last few days, I've started trying to get up, sit down and read my Bible briefly, and then go get my breakfast and then sit and scroll. So just that flow of things. Sorry, I still feel like I've got my heart in my throat. That was a bit of a jump scare. Back to our chats. Anyway, what was I going to say? I was also going to say there's also a system for habits and how they work. I think the words are cue, craving, response, and reward. And these can happen over a matter of seconds, subconsciously or consciously. And that's how you trigger your habits. Something will cue your habit. Then you'll crave a certain thing, and then your body will follow it. And the dopamine is usually the main reward you get, or the enjoyment out of something that you do, whether that's good or bad. So for example, me whacking the clothes and things on the ground or on the bed or on the chair. The cue is, I'm going to get changed. The craving is, I don't want to do it now, so I'll do it later. Then I chuck it down and I feel rewarded because I don't have to do it now. So that's what fuels that bad habit. So being able to identify your bad habits and what signals them should hopefully help us break them. I've really lost my train of thought. I'm very sorry. But in order for us to become the girl we want to be, we've got to add habits in. And there's also that skill of habit stacking. For example, I said that I like to get up and just sit on the couch in the morning and scroll or read while I eat my breakfast. For example, I started getting up, and as I would pour my breakfast, I'd also pour myself a glass of water because I got into the habit of making my breakfast every morning, so that was a solid habit. And so I'd get out a glass when I got out my bowl for my cereal, and I'd fill it with cold water, and while I'm making my breakfast, I'd drink the glass of water. And because I did those two things together every morning, the drinking a glass of water when I got up became a habit. So it's little things like that where we can use the habits that we already have, or unraveling the habits that we already have to form the ones that we want to have. It isn't impossible to become that girl you see in the distance. But I also want to remind you that don't have expectations that aren't attainable. Like day by day. And we said our goals are going to continue to evolve. So don't set the bar up here. Set the bar up here for the girl that you are now. And then when you start to reach that level, you can bump it up a little bit so that one day when you're already up here, you can have it up at that max level, but it's not such a jump. You can do this. Habits are in everything we do. The big, the little. Choose your habits. Choose how to implement them. Choose one habit to start with. For me, it's really been that getting up and having that time to myself in the mornings. That's been a huge game changer. My next habit I'm trying to implement is more walking in my day, whether that's I've been walking on my lunch break or I have gone for a walk in the weekends, just trying to get my body moving. That's something that I really want to do and that I would say like my higher / my future self would do. And I'm sure I'll work on something else in the future. This month, my goal was to pray for 10 to 15 minutes a day, like as a block amount of time. And I was smart about it and I habit stacked. I have to drive to work every morning and I'm always like half asleep. And I find that when I drive and I talk or sing, I keep myself more awake. So I was like, what better thing to do than incorporate my habit with my everyday drive to work? And I think that's one of the few reasons that I've actually managed to miss so few days this month, because I maximize the habits and the routine that I already have in my life. Now I've probably just rambled your ears off, so we're going to have a very quick hype moment, and then I'm going to wish you the best week, and we're going to end our little chat. My gorgeous girls, thank you for being you. Thank you for showing up for yourselves today. By tuning in even to this episode, it acknowledges that you see more for yourself. It acknowledges that you are taking care of yourself. It acknowledges that you are worthy of your wildest dreams. Now, whether you're on day 1,000,001 of failing in your mind, of trying to build healthy habits, that day one could still be tomorrow. Every moment you get a chance to start over. And it's okay to have to start over. Goodness knows, I said on my TikTok, I failed 75 hard more times than I can count on one hand. But am I any worse off from it? No. It taught me things that I realized weren't sustainable for me, things that I think could be beneficial to me. And overall, it just taught me how to fail. You've got this. Life may try and kick you while you're down, but you've just got to kick it back harder, because you are a strong, independent, wonderful, beautiful woman. And I am so proud of you. So let's go forth into this week and be amazing, because you are amazing. Just keep swimming, my beautiful girls, and have the best week ahead, and I will see you on Tuesday. I promise. Let's see if I can keep that. I should be able to keep that. But I promise I'll see you Tuesday. You're amazing, and we'll talk soon. Bye.